Welcome to another episode of A Dram with Friends. I am very happy to meet a new friend myself and invite him into the pub. Welcome, Bradley Banning.
Thanks for having me, Sean. Good to be here.
Bradley, you and I are just meeting for the first time. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure what to pour. I thought I'd go with some bourbon, so I got a Russell's Reserve 10-year
there you
old, and
go.
it's looking really good, smelling good.
Looks great.
So for those that don't know who Bradley Banning is, who is Bradley Banning?
I am a Catholic convert who started making Catholic country music. I've made country music my whole life. My dad was a songwriter growing up, had success on the radio in Nashville and in Texas. And so I always wrote songs, converted in 2015, a little over 10 years ago, and that changed the way I write country music. And so I found myself listening to country music still and not being able to fully relate and enjoy the music that I was listening to because everything had shifted in my life dramatically after becoming Catholic. And so I slowly but surely started making my music, writing music that aligned more fully with my Catholic faith, newfound faith back then. And then, through encouragement with God, Scripture, and some friends, including a friend of mine, Joe Haggard, who kind of first brought the idea of Catholic country to me. I started making Catholic country music.
That's awesome. Uh,
Yeah,
like, so you're able to do your two loves, and what was it
yeah.
that made you want to convert? Uh,
I mean, every time someone asks me this, it's a series. It was a series of events that led to that, and it was. I mean, it was over the course of a couple years, 2 3 years. I think a year and a half, maybe. I can't even remember the timeline of how long it took, but it was a couple years. But the one thing, if there's one thing that just made me convert, it's the Eucharist, and that was just a very easy thing for me to understand from the beginning, and it created a hunger in me that knew I wanted to receive the Eucharist and knew I wanted to be Catholic from the first time that I um, went to Mass. Maybe I didn't realize that I wanted to become Catholic, but I wanted to be there. I wanted to be at Mass, and quickly came to realize I wanted to be Catholic as well. And so it was the Eucharist. I had some really good friends around me in the faith. A guy named Colin Kerwin, who's also in a band called Kerwin. Him and his wife are from Northern Ireland and
oh
make
wow.
country music. And yeah, and we wrote a bunch of songs in Nashville together and had some really good friends around us. Another one, Father Dan Rehill, who was a friend of ours. He wasn't a priest at the time, but he was kind of like right there encouraging us. Colin was a revert at the time, and I was becoming Catholic, but not. I was being stubborn and not becoming Catholic, and he was able to explain things to me, and through conversations with them and other friends around me, a girl Constanza who. She was ended up being my sponsor, my confirmation sponsor, and she was great to me. I just had a great community of friends in Nashville who really taught me what the Catholic faith was, and pointed me to John 6, and I read John 6, and I just couldn't I couldn't argue with it. It was new. It was just I knew that
That's
the
all.
Eucharist was what the church said it was. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's
Yeah, and I they've got some beautiful churches there. Stopped in one, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's downtown on the far side from the where all the bars are. It's on the main
okay.
road there, and I
Oh, you mean in downtown?
yeah,
Goodness, it's. I mean, I haven't lived there in a few years, but
yeah.
uh,
I can't
I've
remember,
I've
but it
been
was
I've been to mass at every. That's actually the first. Goodness, I've got to look up. I've got to look this up while we're talking. Did my screen go away from you? You still see me?
here. No, it's still there because yeah,
Awesome.
I was going to do the same,
It's
but
funny because uh, uh, that was actually kind of the first, if it's the same church we're talking about, it was the first church that I went to mass in when I knew God had answered my prayer and wanted me to become Catholic. I went there October of 2014. Actually, it was November 1st of 2014.
Oh
But
wow.
that was my first mass with my friend Constanza and Colum. Uh, and if I'm correct, in Nashville. Hold on. I'm
There,
looking
I
it up.
remember there being a security guard out front, and they weren't
Oh,
sure.
you know what? It was at the Cathedral of
I
the
believe
Incarnation.
so. Yeah.
There's Cathedral, and then there was St. Mary's. St. Mary's is actually where I went to that mass I was talking about, but the Cathedral is where our friend Dan, who is now Father Dan, at the time we knew him there as Dan and Deacon Dan. He was going through formation, but he uh, he lived at the Cathedral, and so we went to the Cathedral pretty regularly. But then St. Mary's downtown is where I went to that mass. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
It's a
that's awesome.
beautiful Catholic community in Nashville.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, we've flown into Nashville a couple times. We have a daughter in Kennesaw, Georgia, and
Okay.
so it was sometimes easier to fly into Nashville and drive down than
Yeah.
trying to fight the traffic in Atlanta. And they now have direct flights to Atlanta where they didn't before, and the direct flight from Calgary to Nashville, because that's been in Calgary's a cow town as well. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I've been to Calgary many times.
Oh, have you? Okay,
So many
good.
times. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I tour managed a band called Emerson Drive, and that's popular in Canada.
Okay.
And they're a country act, and so we played Stampede a lot when I was tour managing, and so that's how I always ended up in Calgary. That or we'd fly in there to play a gig, and then we'd drive down to BC to goodness, there's so many places. I'm trying to remember names, but we'd end up in Vancouver. So is the
Yeah.
gist of it.
Kelowna.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
Kelowna probably, and
Oh
Golden,
yeah,
or
Kelowna. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and it's beautiful country, and so there's lots of stuff for you to write country songs about up here. So
Oh, exactly. I mean, honestly, I hesitate to say this on a podcast because I don't think I've ever said it anywhere recorded before, but the I think the second best steak I ever had was in Alberta. I'm in Texas, so we got a lot of steak down here, but in Grand, I think it was uh goodness, I can't remember where it was. It was north of Calgary though. But y'all got some good steak.
oh well, Alberta beef is world
Yeah.
famous. It gets shipped all over the place. Because it is quality beef. There's a Montreal smoked meat place in Montreal that only uses Alberta beef,
Oh,
and
really?
I know a lot of our exports go to Japan and other places like that
Oh,
because
wow.
it's high end beef. And had an argument with one of my son's groomsmen because he was saying, well, the best beef is corn fed, and I'm going, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's good beef. I'd love to get back up there and have a steak with you sometime.
Well, yeah, that would be good, but the price of beef these days, we might have to take out a car loan or something
Yeah.
to, yeah. And that, like, I forget who we had over for supper, and her family raises beef, and she said they can't even afford to eat it,
Yeah.
and they raise it. But oh, I've
Yeah.
got some access to some good stuff, so I'm sure
Yeah.
we can work something out if you get up here.
Yeah, I'd love
Uh,
to.
I think I'm coming down your way. So where in Texas are you?
Right in between Dallas and Fort Worth. So
Okay.
if you know where the DFW airport is, I'm from a town called Colleyville there. Lived in Grapevine for a long time, and so
Yep.
that's where I went to high school. So if Grapevine, Texas is usually where I point people to because that's right at north of the airport, like right there. You drive north out of the airport and you're in Grapevine. So
So
that's
where's
where
the University of Dallas?
13 minutes down the road. How do you know UD?
Well, that's where I think I'm heading in at the end of
Oh,
June
really?
for a summit, the Heroic Men Summit. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Call me. What are the dates
Well,
on that?
I think it's the last weekend in June. We're just finalizing everything, and so but
Awesome.
I will definitely look you up and let you know. And
Yeah, that's 13 minutes down the road, so
there you
easy for me to
go.
get to. Yeah.
So yeah, I was listening to some of your music yesterday as I was making some risotto for a potluck we were going to, and there was one of the songs came on talking about drinking whiskey and talking to God. I'm going,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay, a good setup for the.
Room
I forget the name
252
of the song.
probably.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Room 252.
Oh, okay.
I
I'll have
think
to.
maybe. Yeah, it's funny. That's one of the things people have asked me, like, why do you call it Catholic country? Why, like, what are you doing? And like with the direction I went with music, because I lived in Nashville for a long time and made music there, worked in the music business, came down to Texas, had some success as an artist and a songwriter. After my conversion, actually about a year and a half, 2 years after my conversion, and that's when my music was slowly changing. And what I realized is there weren't any drinking songs out there I could get behind anymore. And I'm kind of intolerant to alcohol anymore. I can't, like, some bourbons and beers I break out, but I still love to sit down and have a glass of bourbon or have a beer if I can. But I've just got to prepare myself that, hey, I'm not going to feel good tomorrow, no matter how much I drink. And the funny thing was that I found myself around the time of my conversion in bars. You know, in Nashville talking about God with the Catholic songwriter next to me, or a priest that I knew who was just out for hanging with his buddies having a drink. And I'm like, as Catholics, we drink, but no one talks about like drinking well, doing these things well, like going out. All the country songs that I was listening to, were always about overindulging and getting drunk. Or there was, I like to dance. My wife likes to dance. Dance, it's huge in the Catholic singles community, like going out and two stepping. Here in Texas and in the States, there's a Catholic dance group actually that goes out two stepping a lot, and they're in a bunch of different states.
Wow.
But no one ever. The dancing songs were always about going out, meeting a girl at a bar, and hooking up.
Yeah.
And no one was really talking about these things like drinking or having a glass of whiskey with a buddy, having a conversation. There weren't any songs that were really talking about that. And it was. I have nothing against praise and worship music. There's a lot of country praise and worship music out there, but I was like, there's not any music that's actually talking about what it looks like to live a Catholic life, and in the everyday moments, and in those moments where you run into a friend at a bar or where you take your spouse out dancing. And so, glad you caught that with the with the Route 252 song. I love that. Thanks for
Well,
pointing it out.
and it is important because that's one of the powers of country music, and I like the blues as well, and just
Yeah.
they tell stories, right? Like
Hmm.
the most powerful, they tell stories about life, and that's to have somebody doing it like we've talked about toxic masculinity and everything else, but we never talk about authentic masculinity and what that
Yeah.
looks like and what young men should strive to be like, loving your wife all your life, and
Yeah.
supporting a brother, inviting a brother out for a beer to listen to where he's at, and walking together. You're not there to
Absolutely.
get drunk and wasted. You're there to just enjoy a beer or a dram and connect.
Yes,
And
sir.
especially in this day and age where we need to learn how to have these conversations and connect with our brothers. So
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I love
so
that.
if you want to write a song about being a heroic man, I'm all in support of that. So
I'd love to. That'd be great.
I was just playing around with Chat GPT this morning,
Oh yeah.
and uh I made myself a superhero. So it's
Love
the
it.
heroic man. So I'll
That's awesome.
shoot you a copy of what it spit
Yeah.
out. It's actually pretty funny because it had me doing my barbecuing, and it had me riding motorcycles and having a whiskey, and
That's
just
awesome.
all the things that I've always tried to incorporate what we're doing for fun into a
Mm.
form of evangelization.
Yeah.
And Jeff Cavins and I started doing motorcycle rides back in 2016 because he wanted to go
Wow.
to mile zero of the Alaska Highway. We never quite made it there, but we we have this great time, and we evangelize along the way and see who
Yeah.
God puts in our path
Ah,
to
I
talk
love
to.
that. I
So
love that.
yeah,
Jeff Cavins rides motorcycles. I didn't know that.
yeah, he did. He's we're trying to get him back out on the road. He's been busy as of late, and we've got Bishop Scott now joining us as well, and
That's
so
awesome.
we have a blast, and we build that brotherhood because you also need to form your brothers together in order
Mm.
to know that you can rely on them when the times get tough. Like I had my I've got a couple daughters that love country music, but the they were having some health issues that I reached out to the guys I ride with and the guys on the board for God Squad and just asked, look, I need some prayers, and
Mm.
I know that I got my back covered, right? So,
Mm. That's
and that's
awesome.
so important, especially as you continue to grow in your faith. As Father Larry Richards says in Be a Man series, that there's no such thing as lone wolf Christianity. So
Mm. Yeah. It's funny, in the music business, and I know really, especially in the rock world too, like that lone wolf. You think you like, I don't know. I grew up around the music business, and then I worked in it for a while, and it feels like, I have to be a lone wolf. I have to be different. I have to be separate, and um, yeah, it's not good for us. I don't think,
yeah,
we are, yeah, yeah.
but and that's where your brothers or sisters, whatever, the people that are around you want to see you succeed and support you succeeding, and you
Hmm.
support them succeeding at what God's calling them to do, right? So it
Absolutely.
it's it's not like you're trying to put them down so you can get up, and that's where
Mm.
I think we've lost that we have to devour the other person in order for us to succeed, and is where that supporting each other and allowing God to work and put us where he wants. Like, it's hard to believe all the stuff I've been blessed to be able to do in by just saying yes to God. And
Yeah.
so
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Fellowship and community are so important. So
yeah.
important.
So what do you do for fun down there in Texas?
Well, funny enough, I think my answer to that is I get to do what I love to do, make music and produce music and write music for a living, and so that's what I love to do, like in my free time. But honestly, I became a dad this year, and so getting to hang out with my wife and my son is probably what I do for fun. But
That's
if it's not hanging with my family and enjoying that time or making music, I like to fish. I'm not a great fisherman, but I like to fish.
that's awesome.
It's just it's I don't it's probably I like to think, so I like to just go think, and that's something you can do while you're thinking. So yeah, I like to fish.
Well, and I'm sure, like you talked about being a writer, that you need that silence or that to allow the music to form in your head, right? And
Yeah,
or
yeah,
do you
no, absolutely.
or is it just all magisterium AI and say I need a song about this?
No, no, never. It's funny. I won't name any names of companies, but There's some software out there now that's some has some really cool AI for music creation. And so I played around with it for a bit, like this year, over the course of a couple months, and I found that it was helpful in like getting like studio type ideas, like where you're trying to take a song. Like if there's a sometimes it's difficult to put into words what you're trying to get someone to play. And so you could start talking to that AI to get you to give you something that might get close. But I got so lost in it in those few months that I was like, man, this is taking away the creative fun for me. And you get so lost, you get so many ideas so quick that it kind of took a little bit of the fun out of it for me. And so I don't use AI for writing lyrics. I've used it to help prepare a demo for getting something recorded, but I haven't used it for lyrics yet.
There you go. Okay. Well, I was playing around with it the other day, and it
Yeah,
didn't do too bad on. I
yeah,
was using the Catholic ones, Magisterium AI and Magis AI, and
yeah.
had them do a blues song about being a heroic man. So
That's cool. I hadn't heard of Magisterium AI. I heard of Truthly, and I think Truthly, I've asked Truthly AI a lot of questions about the faith, and it gives solid answers. And so I'd be interested to see Magisterium AI. Check that out.
so Magisterium AI was the founder is a past guest on this show, or
Oh,
was it
really?
on the heroic hotline? I'm trying to remember where I had him, and yeah, he's a Canadian that's over in Rome, and
Oh, wow.
he had created it kind of open at first, but then or his thought was so many people are asking questions about the Catholic Church, and AI tries to please, so sometimes it just makes crap up.
Yeah.
And so he had to create like a closed almost system to, from what I understand, where it drew from only information
Mm.
that he from the magisterium, and then he's got another one called Vulgate AI where they're scanning all the books from the Gregorian library, and so
Oh,
it
wow.
got all this, so magisterium could feed all this other content. Or and what's nice is it gives you where they got the information from, so you can go look it up yourself if you want, and
Oh, wow.
it's not making it up. And I find it very helpful when I'm doing some research, and and then somebody, Father Spitzer, has a new one out called Magis AI, and
Huh.
it's pretty impressive. I've only played with it a little bit, so
That's
I'm
cool.
trying to learn different
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah, you got to stay up to date. I mean, there's definitely a place for all of it. It's, kind of what you're alluding to is just like we're learning to use it well and in the proper place. And that's why I think too in music, like it has its proper place, but especially in something that, for me is music's like a ministry and trying to evangelize through country music. There's definitely, I'm learning how to use it, and I think there's a place. I haven't figured it out in music, but I really do love, some of those apps. Like I said, I've only tried Truthfully, but it's really neat that you've got a question about the faith, you can go there and look
yeah.
it up and go back to the catechism or whatever and make sure that it's solid advice. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and there's, when you, well, Pope John Paul II said this at his homily on March 19th, 1990.
Yeah,
You know, that
yeah,
that's a little back when you had to actually do the
yeah,
research. I was around when there was no internet and all that other stuff. So
yeah,
it's amazing where we've come, but music has been something that's been in our society for as long as man has been around, right? Like
yeah,
and so it's definitely a way to reach people with and lasting memories. So I congratulate you on that path. We Part of the reason I'm not musical at all. I know what I like music,
Yeah.
and but it we had commissioned the Litany of Saint Joseph in song,
Oh
and
wow.
it's on the Heroic Men platform, and it was four soloists, full orchestra, 42-person choir, and
Wow.
34 minutes long, and yeah, it was incredible when it was played for the first time, and we're coming up almost, well, it's 11 months ago that we had it today, and yeah, and it's we sent a copy of the score to the maestro at the Vatican, who
Wow.
congratulated us and is presenting it to the Holy Father, is what he said. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so
That's cool.
I'm hoping to get tickets when an invite when they play it at the Vatican, or
That'd be amazing.
I want it at St. Joseph's Oratory. I gotta work on that because we also gave St. Joseph's Oratory a copy in Montreal of the score. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
Who did that? Who'd y'all commission to do that?
a guy by the name of Carlos Foggin. He's a local guy. He
Oh, cool.
very talented. Uh, he's one of the top organists in Canada, and conductor, and he does,
Amazing.
yeah, he plays just about every instrument. So yeah, what is your instrument? The guitar, or do you,
Yeah, guitar. I'm not a composer.
there you go.
Yeah.
You're a guitar guy. Yeah,
Yeah, guitar
that's
guy.
pretty standard country fare.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so being a young dad, is there a dish that you make for your wife that she asks you to keep making?
There's actually a lot. That's I guess I said fishing. I don't get to fish as much as I would like to fish, but I probably get to cook a lot more than I fish. I like to cook a lot. And so I like making random things. I think it's the creative part of me. I just like creating things. And so there's a bunch of different things, but I make a fancy grilled cheese and I call it a schmancy grilled cheese. And so that's one of the dishes that she likes me to make for her. It's just basically upgraded cheese, and there's some spices and stuff that I throw in it that just ends up being
Ooh.
really good. And so I'll make my own tomato soup and a schmancy grilled cheese, and so that's one of the things I would say she probably likes.
So is there? So I make my own sourdough bread, and
Oh, do
that
you
sounds,
really?
yeah, it'd be good for your schmancy grilled cheese.
Yeah, I bet it would.
Yeah,
I can't bake, so yeah, I've always got to buy my bread. Not very good at baking,
there you go.
but
Yeah,
but
and
I can cook kind
I can
of.
I can I can feel your the creativity. That's one of my joys, is just seeing what I got, throwing it in a pot,
Yeah.
and seeing what comes out. And so I've competed at barbecue competitions,
Oh yeah.
and the Calgary Stampede, they had dueling chefs, so I got to go up against the fire department a couple. I think I did it 4 years in a row, or five. I forget. It's that's a few years ago, but started off cooking chili, and then it got bigger and bigger, and yeah.
That's awesome. That's another one I make is chili, but that's my granddad's recipe, so
Ah,
I didn't create it.
just like my whiskey, it says 90 years of father and son as the distillers, the
Yeah.
Russell. So that's that's part of it, is that heritage. Like the sourdough is my dad's sourdough starter, so it's like the
Oh wow.
sourdough is like 50, over 50 years old, I think. So
Yeah.
it's
That's amazing.
yeah, so, and that's the beauty of food, is it does create traditions and
Hmm.
memories. So so
Absolutely.
we talked about it a little bit earlier. A lot of men are isolated and lonely. And what wisdom would you like to pass on to other men, especially our young men?
Um, I feel like uh, I don't have enough authority to say. All I can talk about is my own experience, but um, I would agree with you. I think a lot of guys feel alone, and I know I have, and I think there's actually a community of guys here in my area who get together regularly, but it never ends up working with my schedule, and so it's just make sure you find the time. I guess my advice would be find the time. Make sure that you make the time to do that because schedules, it seem like in our life, are just getting more and more busy. And I was thinking about it the other day. I finally got together and had a beer with my best friend, and we sat down and I was like, man, it's been months. And that's on me too. Like get so busy. A lot of this Catholic country stuff has taken off this year and running your own business is difficult. Everybody's job it has its difficulties. But I make my schedule and so at times I let my schedule kind of control things. And so, absolutely and first and foremost, prayer time and time going to mass, praying the rosary, which have been bad about this last year. Every time I've been consistent with my rosary, my life is just um, a lot smoother, more calm, and it's one of the things that I forget. It's so easy, but as long as you're regularly receiving the sacraments, regularly praying, after that, it's time with especially in my vocation, time with my family, time with my wife and my son. But don't forget, after that, you need community, you need fellowship, and just schedule the time and make the time. And I've been bad about that, and so I think take my advice from someone who's done it poorly. Make sure you schedule that time.
Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
that's awesome, and I struggle with that as well. And
Yeah.
one of the Gaelic term for whiskey is Ishkabaha, and which means water of life. And I pray
Hmm.
that you continue to lead many souls to the true water of life. And I want to thank you for coming to the pub today. And I'm hoping
Yeah.
that
Thanks
we
for having
can
me.
have you in again. And I look forward to building the relationship now that and anything we can do to support your career, let us know.
Thank you.
And
Same here.
amen.
Hey, and we'll have to when you're down here in Dallas, we'll have to have a drink together.
That sounds like a good plan. That
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us in the pub for this episode of A Dram with Friends. Go to heroicmen.ca to see what we do in this mission, and you can donate there to support stuff like A Dram with Friends. Please like and subscribe on all your YouTube and podcast platforms to help us grow our audience. Thank you. God bless and have a great day.